going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. September's here, which means it's time to talk about my most anticipated movies of the month. Before we begin, let me know in the comments which movies this month you're most looking forward to seeing. As always, this is just a reminder that these will be in order of release date and not ranked by how much I'm anticipating each movie. Also, make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these videos, as it helps me out immensely by getting my channel out there. And if you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with more movie-related content on a near daily basis. But let's not waste any more time, and let's get to the list. Kicking things off is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the next installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm just gonna say, of all the MCU projects we had lined up this year, this was easily the one I was looking forward to most after Spider-Man. And judging by all the reviews and reactions for it, it looks like this one's going to be up there as one of the better MCU projects in general. I love a good old-fashioned martial arts film, and while I've heard the trailers have hit a lot, the very little we got has impressed me. And it's to my understanding that director Destin Daniel Cretton was given a lot of freedom to do what he wanted here, so count me excited. This hits theaters on the 3rd. The Card Counter tells the story of an ex-military investigator turned gambler haunted by the ghosts of his past decisions. This is the latest film by Paul Schrader, best known for writing some of Scorsese's early work like Raging Bull and Taxi Driver, as well as being an established director in his own right. While the trailer does look like it's going to be a slick, exciting little crime drama, I do know that Schrader's last film, First Reformed, was a lot more methodical in nature, and part of me is wondering if this is a lot more like First Reformed than the trailer lets on. But I do like Oscar Isaac, plus with Tiffany Haddish and Willem Dafoe in major supporting roles, I am hoping this will be a good one. This hits theaters on the 10th. Language Lessons focuses on a Spanish teacher, played by Natalie Morales, and her student, played by Mark Duplass, who develop an unexpected friendship. Both Morales and Duplass co-wrote this, and it's the second film directed by Morales that we're getting this year, after Hulu's Plan B. This actually premiered at Berlinale Film Festival back in March, where it received critical acclaim, and it was noted for its sweet tone and its chemistry between Duplass and Morales, which is definitely on display when watching this trailer. The fact it centers around a somewhat unusual friendship, in this case being a teacher and student, reminds me of another film from earlier this year, Together, which was also a sweet film centered around a friendship not seen all too often. And while these are two totally different films from two different filmmakers, if this is anything like that film in terms of tone, I think we'll be in for a real treat. This gets a theatrical release on the 10th. Malignant stars Annabelle Wallis as Madison, who's paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams are in fact terrifying realities. This is the latest film from James Wan, who, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best horror directors working today. And from the looks of this, it seems like we'll be in for another wild ride from him. While Wan's always great at nailing the atmosphere in his films, it seems like this will be a nice mix of atmospheric scares and some really fast-paced thrills, as it looks like Madison encounters one frightening vision after another. While I do wonder if this might cause the film to feel a little repetitive in some ways, I highly doubt Wan's going to disappoint us. This hits both theaters and HBO Max on the 10th. Cop Shop stars Frank Grillo as a con artist on the run from an assassin played by Gerard Butler. When he hatches a plan to land himself in a small-town police station, things get messy when the assassin shows up. This is directed by Joe Carnahan, who also co-wrote the screenplay, and this reunites him with Frank Grillo after earlier this year's Boss Level, which I found pretty enjoyable. I feel like Carnahan's work as an action director is somewhat underappreciated, as he has given us some really solid thrillers in the past, including Narc and The Grey. And I even like The A-Team for what it was. I don't think this will be anything truly groundbreaking, but given the leads and its tense claustrophobic premise, I think this will be a nice, stylish little thriller that should offer us nothing but a good time. This hits theaters on the 17th. Cry Macho stars Clint Eastwood as an ex-rodeo star who's hired to bring a young boy in Mexico to his father in Texas. Eastwood's also directing this one, and it's based on the 1975 novel of the same name. And honestly, I'm just impressed more than anything how Clint Eastwood's still going by this point, as he's 91 years old now. I gotta give him kudos. Now, in terms of how I think the actual film is going to be, it looks like it'll be fine enough. Eastwood's output in the last decade or so hasn't been quite on the same level as him in his heyday, but a few of them have been pretty good, with my favorite easily being Sully in 2016. I think this will be another solid addition to his filmography, though. I haven't read the original book, but this seems to be a restrained and introspective sort of film, and hopefully one worth the watch. This hits both theaters and HBO Max on the 17th. The Eyes of Tammy Faye is an intimate look at the extraordinary rise, fall, and redemption of televangelist Tammy Faye Baker, played by Jessica Chastain. This is directed by Michael Showalter, and it's based on the documentary of the same name from 2000. This definitely has a larger-than-life feel to it, and while I think it will definitely play a little bit into your usual biographical tropes, I think there's some potential here for it to be a wild ride, and I'd honestly be shocked if Jessica Chastain didn't pick up a Best Actress nomination for this. Maybe even Andrew Garfield will get something as well. As far as the rest of its awards chances, those remain to be seen, but I think this will either way be a solid, well-acted film, and it hits theaters on the 17th. The Nowhere Inn stars musician St. Vincent as herself, setting out to make a documentary about her music. But when she hires her close friend Carrie Brownstein to direct, the notions of reality, identity, and authenticity grow increasingly distorted and bizarre. I think this one has the potential to be one of the year's biggest WTF movies, with the film venturing into both comedic and horror territory, with some sequences coming off as incredibly surreal. And considering Brownstein was one of the minds behind Portlandia, a show that I really enjoyed, if this is anything close to as surreal as that show, this could be something else. But I'm excited, and it hits theaters on the 17th. Prisoners of the Ghostland stars Nicolas Cage as a notorious criminal who must break an evil curse in order to rescue an abducted girl who has mysteriously disappeared. After a more restrained performance in this year's Pig, Nicolas Cage is going right back to his utterly strange territory with another film in the vein of Mandy and Color Out of Space. This time with him strapping himself with explosives and fighting ninjas, samurais, and all other sorts of warriors. And if that isn't enough for you to get on board with this film, then I don't know what else to tell you. I know it premiered back in Sundance earlier this year, where people seem to enjoy it, and I mean, if you're into seeing Nicolas Cage losing his mind for an hour and a half in these utterly weird scenarios, I can't see how you're not going to check this out, because I know I am. This hits theaters and VOD on the 17th. And finally, Dear Evan Hansen stars Ben Platt as the title character, who is mistaken by a classmate's family for having formed a friendship with their son, who committed suicide, causing Evan to insert himself into the boy's past, throwing him into a series of duplicitous and confrontational events. Based on the hit Broadway musical of the same name, this has received a bit of criticism upon the trailer's release for the fact that Platt, who played the character in the musical, now looks too old to play a high school student. And while I'm inclined to agree with that, I'm still interested in seeing this, as I've never seen the original musical and want to see if the magic can be recreated for this. Considering I'm also a fan of musicals and a fan of some of the supporting cast, which includes Caitlin Dever, Amanda Stenberg, Julianne Moore, and Amy Adams, I think I'll enjoy this one, even if it winds up not being up to the same level as the original musical. But this hits theaters on the 24th. And that's what we have to look forward to in September, and what should officially bring us into award season, as I can almost guarantee this month won't be the last we'll hear from some of these films. Like Prisoners of the Ghostland, of course. I'm kidding. But there's a lot to look forward to. I'm excited to cover as much as I can, so stay tuned for reviews of all these and much more coming soon. But let me know, which movies are you looking forward to most in September? Was it anything I listed here? Was it something I left off? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it. And for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.